What do you want to be when you grow up? We all got asked that question as kids, but now we're adults, and a lot of us still don't know the answer. Welcome to Still Browsing, the podcast for grown-ups who are still figuring it out. I'm your host, Ariel, a career explorer who's navigated multiple career changes and is always on the lookout for what's next. Each week, I sit down with professionals from all kinds of industries to break down what they do, how they got there, and what their jobs are really like. Whether you're job searching, pivoting careers, or just curious about what other grown-ups do for work, you're in the right place. Let's figure it out together. Welcome back to Still Browsing. In today's episode, I'm joined by my good friend Simone, a technical writer who's turned her love of writing into a thriving career. She's here to share how she got started, what the job is really like, and why it might be the perfect fit for introverts, career transitioners like teachers, and anyone dreaming of a flexible work from home job with a solid salary and a wonderful work life balance. If you've ever wondered how people learn those behind the scenes tech roles, Simone is about to spill the tea. Let's get into it. Hi, Simone. What did you want to be when you grew up and why?
When I saw that question, I was like, honestly, I have no idea. I don't even remember that long ago. So I actually called my mommy and I asked her, what did I want to be? Did I have anything specific? And she was like, no, you were always the type of person to kind of want to do their own thing. I've always had that entrepreneurial kind of spirit. I was always artsy and creative. So I just want to do a lot of different things. I never had like a certain career path.
Was there anything that other people thought you might be good at and that they kind of tried to push on you? When I was in pre-K, for example, or like Head Start, I don't know if you guys have Head Start in North Carolina, right? Yeah.
We do.
So I was in Head Start, and the Head Start yearbook, it says most likely to be a teacher.
Hmm.
So that kind of followed me. But there were different things as I grew up. People would put on me like, you be good for this and you be good for that. And then I would explore those ideas in my head. But was there anything like that for you?
It's funny because my grandmother, I've always been a writer. I always like would write in journals. I was good at writing essays. My grandma wanted me to go into journalism so bad. I didn't do it, obviously, but I think that just anything writing specific, I was just good at writing. So it's funny because that's the career that I'm in now, but that would be the one thing, journalism.
Well, tell us, what role do you do now?
I am a technical writer. What that means is I take complex subjects and break it down in a way that it's easy for a user or a customer to understand. I write user guides, help manuals, I'll do videos to guide them through our products. So what I do right now, I work in banking software. We have a lot of different products. Say you want to change the credit card that you're using on an app. We have a product for that. And so I would write the directions. This is how you do that kind of thing. Simply put, that's what I do.
What kind of experience would someone need to work as a technical writer?
I think that you have to be able to explain things well and you have to be able to understand the mind of a user. Put yourself in their shoes. How would you want to be walked through these steps? So you kind of have to have both sides. I didn't start out as a technical writer. I actually worked in customer service. I know how customers work. So honestly, I would say it's kind of good to work in that customer service role because you understand your client or your customer better. They're asking you these questions constantly. So then it's like, oh, maybe we should write a document on that so that they can go to the website and just read the directions. Honestly, it's not hard. It's just you have to know how to convey the information.
Are there any education requirements or certifications that someone needs to have in order to do your role?
Not necessarily requirements, but it does help. There's conferences that you can go to. Like I don't remember the exact name, but there's one that's like Madcap Flare, which is like a documenting platform that you can write your documentation. They have a conference. There's technical writing conferences, and I've been to a couple virtual ones. And I think those are always helpful. There's a website, I think it's Write the Docs. Just engaging with that community. And I think those are really the only requirements because anybody can write anything, but you just have to know how. Going back to what I was saying before, your last question, I work with a lot of software engineers and developers. They definitely don't know how a customer talks. They should not be writing, but If you do have that experience talking to customers, it's a lot easier. But I don't think it's hard, and just practice, I guess.
What are some more soft skills that you think would make a person be good for this role?
Definitely organization. You have to be definitely detail oriented. You have to have a good eye because you're writing. You don't want typos. Some editing skills would help. If somebody wants to be a technical writer, yes, you can apply for that specific role, but I find it easier to get in with a company, even if it's not their exact role that you want at the moment, and then work your way in, especially if it's a company that wants to see you grow, wants to see you stay with them. It's easier to move. And that's exactly how I did it. Because sometimes it is hard. Like, you straight up apply for it. They're asking for 3 to 7 years experience. It's definitely difficult. And I'll go on LinkedIn. It's like 100 something people applied for this. My last position when I was doing customer service, I was in that role for maybe 2 years. And then for that second year, I had the opportunity to move. And that's what I did. I didn't necessarily like being in customer service, but it helps to just like be within the company.
So it is a good career for, let's say, a career transitioner. You're saying you can start somewhere else and then end up here. Can you walk us through a day in the life of a technical writer? What does an average day look like for you?
Yep. So basically, we use a platform called Jira. It basically organizes all your different tickets. And when I say tickets, I mean like I need to write this document, I need to update this document. We have what we call release notes. It organizes all your tickets. So I try to prioritize. If I have an actual deadline, I need to get this done first. A lot of the times there's no specific deadline. It's just like a bunch of tickets in there. So I'll go into my Jira, look and see what needs to be done first. And then I log into our documenting software and then I just start the work. Sometimes there'll be meetings where I work with developers, product owners, stuff like that, and talk about, hey, this is what's coming up. This is what customers will need documentation for. And then I write all day. That's all I do in between meetings. And that's it. That's as simple as that. And then we have what we call release weeks, which I just had one last week. And what that means basically is, say, for instance, you go into the App Store and you're updating your app and you know how it shows you, this is what we worked on, this is what we improved. So that's what a release is. So I'm documenting, this is what we did, and here's this new feature. And then we publish that out. And then that's pretty much it. But it's very just look at my board. This is what I got to work on. And then I just start typing.
Oh, so you're using Agile.
Yeah, we do have Agile.
How do you like it? We also use that system.
I mean, it does keep me organized. We have the planning we do where we go through our backlog and look at all our tickets. We have, what do you call it? What is that thing where you like check in?
The daily stand-up.
Yes, we have the stand-ups. I don't be going those. But no, it's like you just tell like what you're doing for the day. I kind of like it just because I feel like it keeps me organized and keeps me in touch with my coworkers. So it's not terrible.
I don't love the system. I like the Jira board. I really do. I like the idea of being able to go into the backlog, pick a ticket, know what I'm going to be doing, and moving it across the board. I love that. But the rest of it is just, it feels like doing work for the work, like the backlog refinement meetings. I guess those ones are fine, but then the sprint planning and then the retrospectives, which are really long, and it's just so many meetings talking about doing work when I could be using this time to do work. What is the salary range that someone can expect in this role?
I would say the range would be anywhere between like 50K to 6 figures. It just kind of depends on like what the company is and all that kind of stuff. When I started being a technical writer, I was the first one. So it was a completely new role. Like nobody was doing that. But yeah, I would say anywhere from 50K and up. But I feel like now, if you're just like beginner, like straight up technical writer, like no junior level, now in 2025, I would say anywhere in like that 70 range starting. I've seen positions, especially when you're a senior, oh, it'll be up there. It's like 150K Okay, so you can definitely grow in the role for sure.
So that brings me to a question about promotion. What does promotion look like in a role like this?
This is only based off my company. So we have a lot of products. Everybody on my team, we have like our own set of products that we document for. And so for me, when I first started, I was working with two products. And now that I'm starting to learn more products in general, they kind of base it off of professional development. We have this thing where it's like LinkedIn learning, but just like learning products. They want you to really learn, going to conferences, working with different people, showing that I'm a leader. I own these products. Like, this is what I do. As far as promotions, like, we don't have, which we should, but we don't have a set career path. I think it's more so they look at what do you own? What are your products? And that kind of thing.
So it's not like a role-based promotion system. It's more so expanding what you do within the role.
Yeah.
Okay. So then raises, they're basing it
Hmm.
off of performance and how many products you're taking on and like how you're a
Correct.
leader in your role. Oh, okay. So that
Yeah. And then
makes
we
a lot of
also
sense.
have merit raises every year. So,
Oh, okay. Yeah. But this is also something that someone can do as a freelancer, right?
hmm,
Yeah. Have you
yeah.
considered expanding?
I used to be on Upwork, the freelancing platform. I used to go on there and like, look, but it's something that I've thought about. I haven't done it though.
What would you say the pros and cons are?
Number one, the pro is I don't have to actually directly work with customers. I really did not like customer service. I like being able to log into my computer and just do my thing. I can listen to lo-fi music, just meditating music, and type at the same time. I love doing that. I've always liked helping people. So I like that I get to explain things and help people understand how to use whatever product. I'm just an empath. So being someone that has worked in support, I think the biggest thing, the reason that we have documentation is so that the customer can be self-sufficient and like, taking that load off of support because I know how it is. Specifically with my job, the pros are I work for a great company and I work with a great team. I can go and ask my manager anything about whatever. Like if I'm confused, I feel comfortable being able to do that versus, oh, let me just sit here for hours and like, try to figure out something myself. I just like being in my own world and just typing, just writing.
It's also a role you can work from home. Did you ever
Exactly.
work in the office?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
way
okay.
back when I was always in the office and then I was like on a hybrid schedule, but
Okay.
even before COVID, I was working from home, I think like 3 days out of the week. And then once everything was like shut down, I've been at home since like April 2020. I have not been into an office except like we do on sites. So
Okay.
I'll travel to Austin once a year and that's about it. But
Oh,
yeah,
okay. I've been at home since March to 2022. It's so crazy to think about. Before then, I would have never thought that working from home was a thing. I had no idea. And now it's like I can't even imagine going back.
I'm not. I always tell people as soon as they say, oh, you got to come back, because some companies have done that, I'm like, let me start looking. But I do like getting out the house. I want to find a place where I can like take my laptop and work because sometimes you just get cabin fever. I've been home so much and it's too comfortable. So that's the pros. The cons, I would say, when you work with people that don't have that mindset of a writer, sometimes it can be difficult when you need information. So, for example, this is a good example. When I go into my Jira and I have a ticket that somebody created saying, hey, Simone, like this is what we need documented. And then I go and read the ticket and it's like two bullet points. That tells me nothing. I think they automatically assume that, hey, you're supposed to know this information, but what I need from you is a demo, maybe even a meeting to tell me what this is. I don't know. We can't document anything if we don't know what it is. Like, this is a new feature. How I don't just automatically know just because this is my product kind of thing. So what we run into is like developers doing stuff like that sometimes, not all of them, but it does happen. And then when I was referring to our release weeks, when you have a release, it's kind of up in the air. It's not just, oh, boom, we're going to post this. Sometimes engineers drop stuff in at the last minute. And so you're scrambling to write stuff and it gets hectic. Outside of that, those are the only two cons for me, honestly.
I feel that too, having transitioned from more of a customer based role to more of a project based role. I was on the phones a lot. I hated that part of the day. But yeah, I totally agree with you about how nice it is to have a role where you can Just
Yeah.
kind of like put on music and chill and do your thing. So that's good for somebody who's more of an introvert or somebody who just doesn't want to deal with customers. Like, this sounds
Oh
like it'd be
yeah.
a good role.
Oh yeah.
How would you describe your work-life balance?
Amazing. It's honestly amazing. It goes back to like the company. I always look for culture. Before I even look at salary, culture is number one for me because that determines what your work life is going to be. So we definitely have a good work life balance. When you don't have to work with customers, it's like before you would really have to check in, say, hey, I want to be out these days. Say if there's like 3 or 4 people on your team, you got to make sure somebody's there to answer the phone calls. In a technical writing role, you're just writing. It's more freedom. It really is. Unless you have a deadline, of course. But overall, it's a great work-life balance for sure.
Deadline roles are those deadlines are tight and
Yeah.
sometimes
But
unreasonable.
I'm efficient. Like I know how to work. I'm not new to this. I'm true to this. I've been doing this almost 10 years. Almost 10
Wow,
years.
really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Crazy.
Now that you say that, I'm wondering if there anywhere else you'd want to go from here, or is this something you can kind of see yourself settling into long term or longer term?
I would say no. I would want to stay where I'm at for sure. Of course, I want to grow. But if I do anything else, it would definitely be my own thing. I'm still doing that to this day. To this day. So, no, I do actually like what I do. Like, I really like writing.
What advice would you give to a younger person going into this role, like a early graduate? And
Mhm.
then what advice would you give to someone who is maybe transitioning into that role mid-career?
So, for someone that's post grad, I would say just apply for the job, but go on LinkedIn and don't be afraid to reach out to recruiters, even if it's like a contract job, which is what I had to do when I first graduated. Because they have a lot of like tech writing contract roles. Just apply and don't be afraid to message people. They may not message back, they might message back. You don't know, but you won't know until you try. So honestly, networking, go to conferences, stuff like that, just to talk to people because I do feel like a lot of it is who you know,
Mm.
honestly. And I know the job market is hard, but yeah, really just network and talk to people. Even if you have, like, say, for instance, you have a company that you're interested in, apply, even if it's not the role that you want. Because I'm telling you, I've seen so many people move into roles. I feel like a lot of the people that I've worked with, they all started in customer service and now they're doing way different roles that have nothing to do with customer service. So just get your foot in there. Nothing is immediate. Nothing is immediate. So that would be my advice for that. When you're in the company, just look for opportunities. I'm telling you, it's so easy to move around in there. So get your foot in the door. And I don't think I explained this earlier, but how I got into technical writing, there was a brand new product that came about, and I would have one on ones with my manager. And I straight up told him, I was like, I want to move to the content team. And he was very supportive. So when that opportunity came up, I raised my hand. I said, hey, I want to do this. And that was me proving like I'm capable of being in that role. So I wrote the documentation. Next thing you know, we had another one on one. And he was like, okay, we're ready to transition you. And so that's exactly how I got there. So just talk to people. And if you're with a good company, they're going to listen to you. They're going to want to help you grow and get to where you want to be. So you just have to not be afraid to say something, let them know I'm interested in this, and it can happen.
Yeah, that's a really good career story. I love that you are a technical writer. I think it's such a cool job. It fits you. Thanks for tuning in to Still Browsing. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to follow, subscribe, and share it with someone. And if you have a cool job story to share, I'd love to hear from you. Reach out to be a guest. See you next time.